Your rig is where you work, where you rock out. Your rig is your livelihood. So when that DPF light comes on, give your rig the respect it deserves. As for Road Warrior, stronger seals, better manufacturing, and it's made of metal that lasts. Less downtime and more miles on the road so you can haul longer. Respect the rig. Become a Road Warrior.
Welcome to The Long Haul, the podcast dedicated to empowering small carriers and owner-operators to drive their business forward. I'm your host, Adam Wingfield, bringing you insights from industry leaders, real-world success stories, and strategies to help you navigate the road to profitability. Whether you're just getting started or looking to take your fleet to the next level, this is a show where trucking meets opportunity. So buckle up, it's time to go the distance. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to The Long Haul, where we tell the real stories and bring the real tools that matter most to owner-operators and small fleets just like yours. Now listen, today's episode is a big one, especially if you've ever been stuck waiting hours or even days just to get a simple diagnostic code read at a shop. My guest today is Tyler Robertson, who's the founder of Diesel Laptops, which is a company that's changing the game for small carriers when it comes to maintenance, diagnostics, and recognizing uptime. We're going to get into why having your own tools isn't a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. And this episode is all about putting the power back in your hands. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Long Haul on your favorite podcast platform, and hit that link in the description to sign up for our newsletter so you never miss a show that could protect your business. Let's go on and get on to it. Tyler, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling great, and thank you so much for inviting me on the Long Haul podcast. I love about talking about anything to do with trucks and breakdown and repair. I have no idea how freight moves around the world, but I do know what happens when a truck breaks down. So I'm excited to talk with you today.
Hey, that's one of the most important things, though, man. Without the truck there, the freight wouldn't move. So let's start there. Tell us about what where it all started. Take me back to where the whole passion came about.
Yeah, I was never intended to be in this business. I was in school for computer engineering. I got kicked out. By the way, they kick you out of school if you have bad grades and you fail.
Yeah.
So I had to go home, work for my dad. Him and his brothers had started a truck dealership. So I had the privilege of learning a truck dealership from the ground up, how it works in parts and service, sales, accounting, all the things. So when you work in a spot and you see all the problems every day and you see the customers coming in with issues, you start to get ideas in your head. And that's really where Diesel Laptops got started, was a long time ago, getting kicked out of college.
And so Diesel Laptops, and let me tell you, and this is just and then not, it's part of the ignorance behind it, but like, if you just look at it from, outside looking in, Diesel Laptops, I'm like, okay, it's a laptop that's I'm thinking about protective cases. I'm thinking about a lot of things, but I'm not thinking diagnostics. So tell me about the journey into diagnostics. What really drove that? How did we get from, college to, you know what? I got a good idea. I got an idea about Diesel Laptops.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of people come to trade shows asking if our laptops really are powered by diesel fuel. So we always have to get that.
So I'm not the only one. I ain't the only one.
Yeah. No, it's a confusing thing to a degree. So where this all started with, I was working for somebody else. I actually had moved on from working for my family and working for someone else. And I think I'm like a lot of people. I'm in my late 20s, early 30s. And I started to realize I don't like debt. I am the typical family, right? You got credit card debt, student loan debt, house debt, car debt, motorcycle debt, all these things.
Right.
So I started a little side hustle, and that was putting together and trying to sell some things. And I found a guy in Canada that built this great program that worked on a laptop, and it would hook up to any commercial truck, read every single code on every single computer on that vehicle, and show it to the user. So 15 years ago, that was kind of unheard of. That was not a common thing. You had to buy software from Freightliner, software from Cummins, software from Eaton to do these things. And it wasn't easy to get. There is no right to repair in commercial truck, which is still a problem today. So I found that guy and I just cut a deal. I said, hey man, how about I take your software? I'll bundle it on a laptop. I'll include the adapter to connect to a truck, and let's see if we can sell some kits. And lo and behold, I put my first one on eBay, sold within 24 hours. I made $1,000, and I was like, I might be onto something here. And that was well over 10 years ago. And it's been a journey ever since. One of the fastest growing companies in South Carolina, in the United States, just like FreightWaves has been on the Inc. 500 list. We were as well. And it's just been a really, really crazy journey over this last decade and a half.
And it's been a great rise, and if you look at it too, and quote me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't always in trucks. You did ag and things like that as well, where it wasn't necessarily on road, it was off road applications too.
So we started with truck. That's what I know. I worked in truck dealerships my entire career. And what we quickly found out is those same engines that are in on highway are also in off-highway equipment as well. It's the same engines. Maybe they brand them differently in different torque ratings and different things, but essentially they're the same. And we quickly realized how big that market was. So to put it in perspective for the audience, in North America alone in 2025, over $80 billion is spent fixing commercial trucks between parts and labor.
That's cool.
Now, to put that in perspective, the cruise line industry and the recording artist industry isn't that large combined. So that's a big segment of the marketplace. We're spending a lot of money fixing trucks. Now look at off highway, all the things people don't see that are diesel powered, farm tractors, cranes, construction equipment, generators on the buildings that we're all in, diesels everywhere at airports. Like you name a space, they're there. So those are called off highway diesel. Is how we classify those. And that industry is at least 2 to 3 times larger than on highway. So now you're talking about another $250 billion spent fixing all this diesel powered stuff that really powers our whole logistics system. And at the end of the day, there's no right to repair. All the OEMs want to protect their information, and people just want to fix their own things and get them working again. And that's really what the heart of it is. And that's really why diesel laptops grew as fast as we did. People want to work on their own stuff.
Now, and one of the things that I thought was really unique, and our segment is small carrier, owner operator, small truck, 5 trucks or less, 10, 15 trucks, the small guy, the guy that typically dominates the amount of capacity in the industry from that perspective. There's a unique tool that you got. It's called the diesel decoder. And I thought that was a very, very unique tool because, when you go back and you look at, some of the things that are the biggest pain point for owner operators and small carriers out there, sometimes they're just a breakdown away. It's a tow away. It's one of those things where they just don't have the money to pay for that tow to get that decoding or to get whatever is necessary in order to get the truck back on the highway. You came up with the diesel decoder, and that is tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it. So when I first started selling these tools in literally my kitchen table 10 years ago, these repair shops would call me and say, hey, does your tool do a couple things? They always ask the same questions. Can I read and clear codes? Yes. Can I view all the live data? Yes. Can I force a regen for my diesel particulate filter to clean that thing out? And yes. Can I take it out of D-rate mode? Yes. And they would literally say, that's it. I'll buy it. It works on all makes and models. And we were charging at that time, 10 years ago, $6,000 for that tool.
Wow.
And now now we sell similar tools that do more than that for $10,000. But what's happened is the world's changed, and the world's changed for the better. So I'm going to hold a device up here to the camera, but really to describe it, it's about the size of a $50. It's about, 3/4 of an inch thick. And this tool pairs with any iOS or Android device. So this tool costs $350, and I can use it with that computer that's in my pocket, which we all have now. And I can plug it into a truck, into the diagnostic port. And now I can do all the things I just said. I can read and clear all my codes. I can view live data. I can force a regen. I can take my truck out of D-rate mode so that I can get it off the side of the road and get it to a shop so that I can get fixed properly instead of having to wait for a tow truck. I can one tap from a fault code to know what part numbers I actually need to buy to fix this with aftermarket alternatives. So we just basically kind of ate our own lunch here a little bit and said, hey, we don't need these tools anymore. Let's move out of the shop. Let's move into the cab, and let's make affordable tools for the everyday person that just needs to do some quick triage, save themselves a tow bill, get out of a jam, get that load taken care of, and move on with their day. And that's really what the diesel decoder is. So there is a small subscription fee. I think it's $20 a month to do the advanced features. But without even those, you can still read and clear codes, view live data, and do some basic triage stuff.
And the most important basic triage stuff is doing that force D rate. I mean, is to get your truck out of D rate and that force regen. Those two things right there alone is worth its weight in gold, especially when you think about how much it's going to cost you to tow and, how that can kind of prevent you from doing things that, spending money that you probably don't have. For the small carriers out there, though, what makes your tool different from other generic solutions when it comes down to diagnostics?
Yep. So this is really one of the only tools. There's not many tools in the marketplace that do this. There's a handful. What is unique about this particular tool is the fact that you can one tap from a fault code and get detailed step-by-step directions on how to troubleshoot that code, along with the part number you need to buy to fix it, along with aftermarket alternatives and pricing, all in less than a minute. So no one's able to do that on the market. And what we're also doing now is going beyond this. So what we talk about at Diesel Laptops and what got us here was having tools in the shop. Now we're talking and I'm holding in my hand a tool that's in the cab. And I can tell you the next iteration of this is tools that are in the cloud. And we're doing that today. So we call that product watchtower. So we do that now for transit buses where we actually monitor their vehicles 24/7 with AI and humans. And we actually let them know before their drivers even know they have a problem. We're able to tell them what fault codes they have, how serious they are, where they should bring them in, and what tests they should do to fix them. And it's just changing the process. So this is like a lot of industries going from in shop to in cab to in cloud. But that's what's happening with diagnostics as computers get smarter, as the bandwidth gets faster on 5G and LTE and all the things. We're now able to do these things. And it won't be long before we're out there literally monitoring trucks everywhere 24/7. Doing triage while they're going down the road and just helping people get ahead of the problem. And especially with predictive AI, before they even know they have a problem or a problem's coming up in days or weeks. So that's where the future is going when it comes to these types of things.
So what do you think from a just on a generic, a small fleet owner operator, what do you think they can expect to save realistically by having their own diagnostic tools, by investing on their own diagnostic tools?
Yeah, well, at the very least, if they get one D rate during the year where they're like can't move their truck, they got that 5 mile per hour thing going on, you're looking at least saving $500, $600, $700 in a tow bill, depending where you are, which the tool's already paid for itself. So then you take into account the fact you're able now to do some initial triage and do some initial checks. And by the way, we make it real simple. Check this wire. This is the voltage it should be. Check this thing for that. Like we make it super easy for people to walk through. We spent years and millions of dollars building out repair steps for every single fault code that exists on every single commercial truck that's ever been built. So that's a big database that took us a long time to build out, but we do it every day for people in the shop. Now it's just available for people that are in the cab of their vehicle and the small fleets.
And some folks think that tools like that are too complex for a driver to use. You showed it just a few minutes ago. What do you say to that?
Well, that's where the beauty really comes in with Diesel Laptops. So we learned with repair shops, handing them the world's most powerful diagnostic tool doesn't allow them to fix anything more because they needed more pieces, and it's the same pieces the fleets need. So we actually have a program here at Diesel Laptops where we can actually outfit the fleet with in-cab tools like I'm showing here and we're talking about. We have in-shop tools that are a little bit bigger and do a little bit more. But not only that, we have a call center staff with over 60 people. Most of them are diesel technicians. Wow. So what that means is the driver or the fleet person, manager, doesn't know anything about a truck, literally can call us, talk to a certified OEM and ASE certified diesel technicians, and we have them from every possible industry you can think of. And we will literally walk them through on what to do and how serious it is and give them that information they need. Because that's really what's missing when a truck breaks, is how serious is it? What's it take to get it back going again and how long? And once you know those things, you can make a better decision now on how to handle that load or handle that driver or handle the situation. And that's really what we're trying to do by accomplishing that, is providing those resources, an extension. We're basically a virtual shop that's there to help that fleet or help that owner operator or help that driver.
From a business standpoint, how does owning your own diagnostics itself shift your negotiation power when it comes down to being at that desk when you're having a repair done?
I think what people need to understand is when they bring a truck into a repair shop, just because they're a diesel repair shop does not mean they're qualified and know what they're doing. I worked in an OEM dealership for 10 years. I was a service manager. If people think we knew it all and got all the training in the world and we were the best diesel technicians, they were sorely mistaken, because we struggled at an OEM dealership to know these things. And the people that aren't OEM dealers have it even harder because OEMs aren't giving them training. They're not giving them repair information. They're not giving them tools. They're not giving them parts lookups. They're great people. They're trying hard to figure it out.
Sure.
They just don't have access to all the information to actually do it. And that's part of the problem when you bring a vehicle in somewhere is you don't know who's actually going to go look at that vehicle when that service writer hands it to a technician. It could be a guy with 20 years experience or a guy that just graduated from tech school, and that's who's looking at it. The difference with diesel laptops, it's more controlled. We have a call center. We log every single call. We do 80,000 calls a year just diagnosing trucks and helping people fix trucks. We know what we're doing in this call center. So for us, we do view ourselves as the experts. And that's where today's world is with our repair shops we work with. They literally hook their laptop up, open a chat session and say, help me. And we're helping them. And now that same service is available to the driver of a vehicle or to a fleet manager when the truck's in the yard.
That's incredible. And, we've heard about repair shops sometimes exaggerating on repairs. Does your tools like help carriers call BS? Do you see your Dakota helping carriers call BS when that comes around?
So I will say this. I don't think it's repair shops doing anything malicious. It's doing them out of, I would say, almost ignorance. Yeah. They just don't know. They don't have the training. They don't have the knowledge. So they're doing their best guess. And we call it the parts cannon in the industry all the time. And anyone here that owns a truck knows what I'm talking about when I say this. The repair shop just threw every single part at it, trying to fix the problem until the part finally fixed it. And what that comes down to is one of the components of what we do at Diesel Laptops, that's training technicians how to properly diagnose. So what we do for our customers that do have technicians is a couple things. Number one, we have an online learning platform that we own. We hired our own course authors. We have our own subject matter experts. And we built out high quality classes with quizzes, videos, animations, and we teach people proper after treatment diagnostics, HVAC, hydraulics, electrical, brake system. These are all available 24/7 for people to do at their own pace. We've also launched now several training centers across the United States where people come in for full day courses. Again, on diagnostics. We're not teaching them how to do brake jobs and how mechanical things work.
Yeah.
We're teaching them how to actually diagnose things properly. And these are not instructors. These are diesel technicians that have turned into instructors. So at Diesel Laptops, we employ well over 60 different diesel technicians working as subject matter experts, trainers. They're in our sales department. They're all over Diesel Laptops. And that's because we have to have that knowledge. And we're trying to take all that knowledge in these experts' heads and trying to find a way to scale it so that everyone has access to that information and learn those skills. So these repair shops, they're not doing it on purpose. They just don't know. And then the other tool that we do have, if people really need to, is on our repair information platform, Diesel Repair. There's a free version they can go and sign up for. They can do a couple lookups a month, and that has our labor time guide. So if they really want to see how long a labor time should take, we have a complete labor time guide library of every single possible repair and diagnostics you can think of for every commercial truck that exists.
So they literally can go into the website and be able to say, okay, I got to get a clutch done. Now I can kind of look on there and I can kind of expect what I'm going to pay as far as labor hours on that.
Absolutely. And we went above and beyond any existing labor time guide. Our labor time guides are VIN specific or year, make, model, and engine specific. So we don't give this big, huge range. We're like, okay, for that truck and this application, it should be in this ballpark. And that's intended just to help people. And trust me, repair shops want to bill the right amount. They just get caught up all the time. I was a service manager over 30 technicians at one time. It is amazing how many times in a given month at a dealership, our guys would be 40, 50 hours into a job and still don't have an answer. And now we got a problem. I got a bunch of hours I can't bill. Technician's flat rate. He's afraid he's not going to get paid. Customers upset the truck's been there for a week and we don't know what's going on with it. It gets really ugly really quick. And that's our job here at Diesel Laptops. So when people think of Diesel Laptops, what they need to think of us as is a diesel technician efficiency company, because that's really what we're doing in the marketplace, is helping them be more efficient at what they do.
Today's episode is brought to you by Trucking Hub. Now listen, if you're still bouncing between 5 different logins just to run your trucking business, you're already behind. Trucking Hub is built by a carrier for carriers, and it puts everything under one roof, whether it be dispatch, safety, maintenance, and even accountant and a driver app. Their dispatch runs on PC Miler and Copilot navigation, so the miles are right the first time. Now the ELD is FMCSA certified, tamper-proof, and trusted since 2017. And if you want to keep it all in one lane, you can even roll in company phones, text and video, and fax backed by nationwide LTE. Bottom line, this is the kind of system that's you spend less time hopping and more time hauling. Plans start at just $29 per truck, no contracts, no hidden fees, and you can try it for free for 30 days. Check them out at their website and get your time back. So I want to talk a little bit about the repair shop just for a second. And you talked about something earlier that really kind of sparked my interest. And I saw a report a couple of weeks ago where, and in the trucking industry, the word that we hate more than anything is shortage. We hate shortage when it talks about driver, whether it's parking, whatever it may be. The word shortage is not one of those words you want to talk about. But I've heard that, just based on information, that there is a tech shortage. And when we went through COVID, the whole nine, we experienced those long lead times. Some of them were just because parts just wasn't available, just because of the things that we were dealing with on the supply chain side. But do you feel like there is a shortage of adequate technicians that are qualified diesel techs out there?
Well, not only qualified diesel technicians, there's a huge shortage of that. There's a lot of people that are technicians that don't know how to properly use a multimeter. They don't know how to properly diagnose trucks. There is a ton of those. There is a human shortage as well. So to put in perspective, if you go on Indeed.com today and you search for diesel mechanic, diesel technician, you're going to find somewhere between 60 to 70,000 open job positions for diesel techs just on Indeed. This is one platform, and a lot of those jobs are for more than one role. There is a severe shortage of diesel technicians. And my industry kind of I go against the grain here. Our industry has done a bunch of stupid things to try to fix this problem, and they've never worked. I mean, they're at the point now where they're like, well, let's talk to high schoolers. Now it's like, let's talk to grade schoolers. Let's make a video game about fixing trucks. I'm like, this is just so stupid. You guys aren't doing this the right way. So our view is, if we can make the current technicians more efficient, then that's the equivalent. If they're 10% more efficient, that's equivalent to having 10% more diesel technicians in the marketplace. So we view it from that angle. And I really think, as like a side note, to help solve this problem, it's things we do with like Melissa, the diesel queen, and some of these other diesel technician influencers. It's like what you need is not people coming to high school for an hour.
Yeah.
You need people on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, showing what this industry is like, getting them involved, and getting them excited about what this career is like and what you can really do with it and how great of a career it is, because you can make 6 figures a year and not have to go to college for 4 years. And you can punch your own ticket and never have to worry about a job the rest of your life. It is a great career along with a lot of the trades.
So you see that diagnostics is like A plus B equals C. It's reasoning, it's going through an arithmetic model in your mind. It's coming up with a conclusion based on multiple different things. And then you got the explosion of AI and artificial intelligence. Do you feel like in the next couple of years that we're going to see a significant shift in the technician space, just with diagnostics becoming simpler, diagnostics becoming more artificial? Do you see something that within artificial intelligence that it can help support and make that the tech shortage a little bit better?
Yeah, so for sure. So right now with our Watchtower product, where we monitor trucks 24/7, there's a predictive AI component of that, where we have an AI with humans figuring out before things even break. So that's number one. Number two, trust me, we're in the thick of it when it comes to using AI and doing things with repair information. One of the biggest problems, though, is when you use ChatGPT or Copilot or pick your favorite, and you start asking it questions, it doesn't really know. It's doing its best to try to help you figure it out. But if you just tell it, I have a 2015 Freightliner and I got this issue going on, it doesn't know what exact engine you have. It doesn't know the exact model, what manufacturers know the exact model. You're not asking it the right questions. And all that information is behind paywalls at OEMs and dealerships and all these other places. There's just not that library of information that's free on the internet for this AI to compile it all and take it. So I do see a huge rise. In the last 6 months, I've had 3 different companies approach me saying, hey, we built this great AI. If you tell it what's wrong, it'll tell you what part number and labor time and which wiring diagram and how to fix it. But the problem is we built this. we don't actually have any of the information, but you guys do. Diesel laptops, can we have it? We're like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's been it took us 10 years and millions of dollars to build this,
Right.
and the OEMs aren't going to give it to them either. So there's that problem there, and yeah, we're trying to build it out. One of the simplest models we started with was our symptom-based troubleshooting. We said, okay, let's just take our symptom-based troubleshooting. So what this means is like my engine's blowing black smoke, or I have white exhaust coming out, or I have a knock in the engine. And we have all these guides on what you do to do that. And even after feeding all that information into the tool that we built and our subject matter experts, we can't get it past 90%, if 90% correct. It's still wrong 10% of the time. So what we found out is like our core information had some errors in it. It sometimes led to the wrong steps, or we were missing more information that it needed to answer that answer effectively. So we've had to go back and be like, okay, like now we know even what we built isn't 100% accurate, and we can't be 90% right. That means 10% of the time we're gonna be wrong, and we're gonna really mess some things up. How do we get to that, that 100% range, or get really close to it? And that just comes back to doing a lot of the things that we have to do, is go back through our information, build it in a different way, and really tie up all those loose ends. So I use ChatGPT every day. We use it at work, and we always tell everybody, like, don't take it as gospel. It'll lie to you. It'll make up things, but there is a path there, and I still feel we're at day zero of figuring out AI and how it benefits our lives. So yeah, it's going to be a big thing here as people start to figure it out.
And it's going to take time. Like we're just, I would say in the last year, maybe the last year and a half or so, we really just become comfortable with it. And like you said, ChatGPT it's still a learning model. It's still going to take what you tell it, and it's going to try to give you the best resolution of it possible. But from a build standpoint, if you look at it from a year 1 through year 5, after it becomes smarter and smarter and smarter, when you look at 2025, it may not be the gospel, but in 2030, it might be singing the music though.
Man, we say all the time around here, like we're impressed with AI. We just did an AI project at work. So our salespeople, we have so many products. Our inexperienced salespeople especially have a tough time figuring out like what product to quote a customer.
Yeah.
And in a matter of 4 hours, our subject matter experts using our website literally built a ChatGPT module that was like 95% accurate in 4 hours on how to figure out the right tool to recommend to a customer. So now we're tying that into our phone system. So when customers call in and a customer asks a question, our phone system, which is AI, pops up telling our sales rep what questions to ask or what products to recommend based off the voice recognition. So like this world's crazy, and we always say the same thing. This is the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
And that's a really scary thought when you start looking at it and thinking in that perspective, because it is getting really freaking good, especially like the AI stuff with Sora 2, all the other things that are happening. It's absolutely amazing what's going on with AI. And it really is going to be a future thing. And I think a lot of people are figuring out how to make money off it still. And once people figure that out, it's going to be a whole new world. Just kind of like reminds me of the .com era in the late 90s.
Yeah, and that was an era. That was a heck of an era too, because I come from the dial-up era before the .com era. So like I'm a Commodore 64 kid. I don't know, where you fall in, but we had the 5 1/4 inch floppy disk. So that's what we're talking about. We talk about the change in technology over the last 30 years. It's crazy. So I'm just looking at AI, especially in diagnostic, man, because the way I look at it is, a code comes up. The truck itself is a machine. It's a computer that with the engine and the variety of different sensors and computers. But within all of those things, they talk to each other and they say, hey, this is going on and this is wrong. Well, this is almost wrong. So it's a lot of sensors talking to each other. The diagnostics really comes down to, okay, why? What's causing it to do that? And so that's what I'm looking at, like AI becoming that piece that inserts right in the middle at some point and is able to make all the decisions and able to take in all the information and say exactly that this was happening. Because I'm going to tell you, as an owner-operator, one of the biggest things that frustrated me, I never forget, I lost a 2012 Freightliner Cascadia up in Connecticut to a DPF issue because they kept diagnosing the problem. They kept going in and diagnosing the problem. And when I mean diagnosing the problem, they would look at one thing and didn't work. And so we got to do this. Now we got to do this. And we're walking out this decision tree matrix, which they go by. And I'm gonna tell you, man, that's one of the things that when it comes down to being an owner operator, it comes down into the maintenance and repair costs. A lot of it that's just in diagnostic time, man.
I mean, I'll tell you a quick story here. So I hired, this is like when I had like 4 employees, I hired my 5th one. I used to work with him, diesel tech, brilliant guy. And I'm like, I'm going to bring you to a customer's location. I'm going to show you how the tools work. And we get there and I'm like, hey man, can we hook some trucks? He's like, you know what? Actually, that customer just pulled in. He's having all kind of DPF regen problems. Go talk to him, see if you can help us out while you're here. Cool. We go over there, talk to the driver. What's going on? Hey man, I've been going on for 6 weeks. Every time I bring it into place, they do a DPF regen, they clean the things. I've already bought a DPF filter. Like it just keeps plugging up and I have to keep doing stuff. So my technician, he was a trainer at the time. I'm like, all right, well, let's hook the laptop up and see. Boom, codes pop up, bunch of them for emissions. And there's one on there for low oil. So he looks at the driver and he goes, hey, how much oil have you been putting in this thing? My guy's like, how do you know that? He goes, well, I can see you got like this low oil code happening all the time. It's like, well, now that you say that, yeah, I've been putting in like a quarter or two, like every couple of times a week. And my technician looks at me and goes, I already know what it is. I'm like, what? He goes, I guarantee you pull that intake off. There's going to be oil in there and that oil's getting into the DPF filter. It's plugging it. The guy's got an oil leak. That's what's causing this whole thing. Had nothing to do with the after treatment. That's just where it was being seen. But that guy he said he went through at least 6 shops and spent thousands of dollars and nobody knew the root cause. And that's what we do in our training classes and our repair information is get down to the root cause, the root failure analysis, like what's really causing this problem. And once people understand how the systems work, they're not as complicated and they're not as like scared of them. And they actually know where to go to actually fix the problems on these things. So it's just a learning curve, man. And our industry's done a disservice by not informing and not giving those tools and training to the industry that needs to have it.
Especially on the after treatment side. Like, the after treatment side itself is probably one of the things that when it hit the marketplace, it really, really hogtied some operators, put operators out of business because, it was an experiment from itself. And, it was a very expensive experiment because if you think about it, it's a science experiments that's happening inside of the truck at highway speeds. But the thing that you mentioned the most important about that is that, that you're like, hey, we're doing training and things like that on the after treatment side and things that you need to know and be aware of from that. When you look back at that as what you're doing now with that training, that after treatment training, what is one of the most common misconceptions that an owner operator or a small carrier may have in regards to the DPF system that you could nullify by just saying this?
Well, I'll tell you the biggest one we get. It's probably not the direction we're going here, but everyone wants to delete their DPF and delete their emission systems. Like that, we get that phone call inquiry all the time. Yeah. And by the way, for the audience, 100% illegal. Yeah, there's actually a guy in Montana, and there's someone I've been friends with on Facebook for years that just went to federal prison for doing a lot of these deletes. Mm-hmm. It is 100% illegal no matter what people tell you. But it's really just understanding how the system works and doing the maintenance on them. And it's, again, I really feel bad for a lot of people like the owner operators and the fleets that have gone through this because it really wasn't their fault. What it really was is the OEM's fault for not giving that training to all the people that actually need it and the tools and the tools to do it. Like we were all doing the same thing. We were all doing the parts cannon, throwing parts at it, trying to figure it the heck out. Again, I'm going to go back to it. People think dealers get a lot of training when new things come out. We do not. Usually a new truck rolls in the shop and we're like, what is this? What's different on it? And by the way, there's like this part of a manual that's missing a bunch of stuff and not even a training class yet. Yeah. The truck's in our shop and now we're trying to figure it out. So it's really difficult to get that training and get that information to everyone. And again, right to repair is one of those big things that everyone's pushing. So why doesn't this happen in automotive? Because automotive has right to repair. OEMs have to go do these things. They have to give tools, training, repair, and all the things needed in order to fix these things. And that's been being battled off in our industry now for the last decade with still no resolution.
Man, that's going to be, I think, a battle that's going to be fought until the end of time when it comes down to it. And I hate the fact that that's what it is, but it just seems like the more tech that you throw at a truck, the more that you're going to see that becoming an issue. Do you believe that with the push on EVs, alternative fuels, also on making these trucks more safer by putting more and more driver assistance, maybe it's lane departure, things of that nature, does that put more pressure downwards onto what you guys are experiencing as tech on the tech side?
Oh, 100%. And let's throw like autonomous self-driving trucks in there and all the other things that are happening, right? So now you have more computers, more sensors, and just more complexity to a truck. Like as you keep doing these things, I know even with like EVs, everyone's like, oh, there's not an engine there. There's going to be nothing there. Well, I've been in these things. I've ridden in these things. You pop the hood, there's still like you think there'd be nothing there, and there's still
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff there, right? Like there's
Yeah.
still complicated and there's still things going on.
Right.
So no, I mean, again, another thing we say is to people, well, if you think trucks are complicated today, are they going to be more or less complicated 5 years from now? And the answer is obviously they're going to be more
They're gonna
complicated,
be
right?
more. Yeah.
So just putting your head in the sand and not dealing with it isn't the solution. It's figuring out how these things work, taking the training, getting the tools, and getting into it is what we tell repair shops, because it's not going to get any better for them.
Now, just as we kind of wrap up, a couple, a couple of questions I have. One of them is for your small fleets. Now, we know you have the decoder. Are there any alternative diagnostic tools that are available to a small fleet owner that would be more advantageous than just having a decoder? That would provide them a little bit more flexibility?
Yeah, so it depends on the fleet, right? So we have some tools. We have another tool. It's $500 down, $50 a week, and that tool will do everything OEM software will do, diagnostic and repair wise, on every single commercial truck that ever exists. So that's on the other end of the spectrum. That tool we're talking about on here, $350, that works with your phone. And then we have ones in the middle. So we have tools that are $600 and $1,000. So a lot of it just comes down to them calling in or chatting with us on our website, having a conversation on what they have, what they're trying to do. And every fleet's different. Some are like, I want to do it all. Other ones are like, nope, I'm going to outsource it all. I just need to triage it real quick and see what's going on. So it's just a quick conversation we have with people. So that's one of the unique things about us is we just don't have one product that we're trying to sell and jam into everybody. We have everything, like the Amazon of diagnostic tools. So if it's not our product, we are the largest reseller for almost every single other diagnostic tool manufacturer out there. So our job isn't to sell you our products. Our job is to sell you the right product to fix your solution, your problem in your budget is what we do here at Diesel Laptops.
And the thing is that one of those things that you think that should be the case is that as an owner operator, a small fleet owner, having these tools is like another insurance policy when it comes down to on the repair side, and having that is kind of one of the things that you want to have more or less than not in those cases. So definitely appreciate that. Now, is there anything that you have that's exciting that's launching that you said, hey, you know what? For my small carriers and my small fleet owners and owner operators out here, this is the one for you. What would that be?
Yeah, the one that's coming down the pipeline is that Watchtower product where we talk about remotely monitoring trucks. So currently that product's only available in the transit bus industry.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're in beta with the refuse industry. And I can just tell everyone, like, we're kind of going product category by product category. And that one will eventually cover everything. So that will allow at a low cost anyone to allow us to monitor their trucks and be basically their technician in the sky.
That's crazy.
24/7 with AI. So that's where the future is going with all these things. But today there are the products like the diesel decoder, the handheld tools, and other things we have. Just a really simple conversation. And again, the big thing for us isn't just telling you what the code is. It's telling you, here's how to fix the code. Here's the part numbers you need to buy or see if they're available in your market to actually get those so you can get your truck fixed. And by the way, here's some training classes and some things you can take as well if you want to start going down that hole of like trying to figure out things and improve your skills.
And your product does that.
We do that. That's what we do at Diesel Laptops, man. Like this was my garage 10 years ago. It's just one product. And now we got 100,000 plus customers selling all over the place and business is going good. So I'm very fortunate, lucky to be in this space.
Well, that's incredible because you're solving a problem and you're helping. And I think that knowing more about what Diesel Laptops is and what it does is important for the small carrier community, because at the price point that it is and how helpful it could really send some people down the road. So I appreciate you sharing that story, and I appreciate you sharing your tool today.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to come on the show and talk to you for a little bit. So it's been a great conversation. Big fans, and look forward to keep working with you guys here.
And if anybody wanted to reach out to you at Diesel Laptop, how would they do so?
Yeah, diesellaptops.com. If they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, which I love LinkedIn, man. My story since the very beginning of my dining room tables on LinkedIn. Just look up Tyler Robertson, Diesel Laptops on LinkedIn. More than happy to connect with you.
That's awesome, and we appreciate it. And everyone, that's a wrap on this one, y'all. But if you're still relying on shops to tell you exactly what's wrong with your truck, this episode should be your wake-up call. Big thanks to Tyler for breaking it all down, what Diesel Laptops is doing. It's not just about saving money, it's about taking control of your time, your truck, and your business. And I love the education behind it. If this episode specifically gave you something to think about, or better yet, something to act on, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to The Long Haul. And don't forget to join our newsletter where we break down every single episode and send you exclusive content built for small carriers, including our tools of the week, which last week, it was Diesel Laptops decoder. So until next time, keep your wheels turning and your money right, and we'll see you on your next episode.